Hey folks, Pat here from DNS. This Madison area fishing report is current as of January 5th. Well, Happy New Year, everyone. I hope you all had a happy and safe holiday season. At the end of 2023 came the end of muskie season, so I hope all the muskie anglers out there are coping to the new reality. But that season will open back up here um, the first Saturday of May, so it's not too far off. Be here before you know it. In the meantime, inland early catch and release trout season opens on January 6th, which is tomorrow. It's very exciting. So, if you want to get out, you can get out on any inland stream starting tomorrow, provided you have a trout stamp. And you can use artificial tackle only, so no live bait, and any trout you catch need to be immediately released. But, this is a great time to get out and not only catch some fish, but maybe explore some streams that you might not have be able to fish later in the season because grass and stuff gets so long, and so this is a great time to especially explore smaller water, and the fish are definitely active. I'd encourage folks to also watch your fish handling this time of year. If you're fishing and it's cold, don't keep those fish out of the water too long. But it is a great time, and glad that's going to be opening up. So swing into the shop. We got everything you'd need here, and can point you in the right direction to where folks might be getting some fish. Otherwise, as far as shop news, I guess, I've been a bit of a media darling this last week. So they had a news story on Channel 27 about, the lack of ice around town. Um, the State Journal did a story here, a nice story. It all spawned from this story that Spectrum News 1 did on last week. And I'll be posting the link to this a little later, but I couldn't find the video when he first was here. But yeah, they're all good stories, and definitely appreciate the coverage and exposure. Wish we were talking about how many fish we were catching around town, but any publicity is good publicity, right? So anyway, appreciate that. A couple things around the shop. We have smelt. So if we can ever get some ice, swing in, and this is a very popular pike bait, and yeah, we got some in yesterday, so excited about that. Also got a restock of Fortune Favors nuts. These were formerly known as Nutcrack. This is a great local company, and I tell you what, if you like nuts, you're gonna love these because, man, they should put a warning on. Like, if you open this can, you're probably gonna eat the whole can. They are fantastic, a little pricey, but we try to keep it classy here at DNS, and happy to have a restock of their awesome product. On the front door, we got posters, for fisheries. Yeah, they're still moving forward, scheduling the fisheries. So, and if you do have a fishery or really any event that you might want to promote, feel free to swing by the shop. And yeah, we can put a poster up. Happy to do it. The Marshall Lions Club up there in Marshall's got an event on the 19th and 20th. Hope they got ice for that, but they got a whole bunch of great things planned, and I bet they'll have it even if there isn't ice because there's so many other things going on. So check that out, January 19th and 20th over to Marshall. And then this Icebreaker, North Country Icebreaker event down on Koshkonong, February 3rd. So that looks like a cool event. Check that out. Again, if you got an event you want to promote, feel free to swing by the shop and drop off a poster. We're happy to promote local stuff that's going on. I guess as far as the fishing report goes, last week was at least colder. Still not much to report in the way of fishable ice in the area. Temperatures don't look cold enough to make much, if any, ice through the weekend and into late next week, unfortunately. So while the trout anglers are going to have some great conditions to be out for the catch and release opener, ice folks are chomping at the bit. I tell you what, folks coming in, getting all their stuff ready again, over and over again, and looking through the shelves, seeing if there's anything they need. But so when the ice does come, we're gonna have some people out there, that's for sure. The forecast does call for some cooler temperatures to move in this time next week, so I guess keep your fingers crossed for that. I don't have a current temp for the buoy out on Lake Mendota. That's been down for a long time. Down on Lake Monona, though, the USGS monitor down here at Brittingham Park was reading 31 degrees this morning. I haven't heard that there's ice down there, but from what I learned in science class, that water should be frozen. So anyway, it's right on the cusp of freezing. So all we need is just a little cold weather, and that's going to lock right up. So yeah, looking forward to that. As far as launches go, I thought the forecast last week, you would have thought the launches have been locked up by now, but most have been ice free all week. I know the one pier over here at Warner Park had just a little skim over it this morning from what it looked like. The launch over to Marshall was wide open on Wednesday. I'm not sure the current conditions of Marshall or Spring Harbor, but post below if you know if they're open or if the piers are in. But it was wide open on Wednesday, so not much ice in there if there is any. Down on Monona, the Olbrich Pier was at least was open water on Wednesday when I drove by, so I'm not sure the conditions there. But down to Wabisa, I did, thanks to, I can't remember who posted last week about the Babcock launch. Gate is closed over there. And down to Kashkanang, I don't know if the fish camp launch is still open or not, but I know if they closed Babcock, I think the county would be pretty likely to close fish camp as well. Otherwise, generally around the chain, just like the last several weeks, without ice, there isn't a whole lot to talk about. Like I mentioned, muskie season is now closed. Folks are still getting walleyes up shallow around the chain, mostly at night with some pike mixed in. But for the walleyes, large fatheads, chubs, or shiners, under a lighted slip bobber is generally outproducing lures. But if you do work lures, just work them real slow. It seems to be the most effective way. I do hear about some good panfish action here and there, but really that's about it around town. The rivers are running a little bit above their seasonal averages, but walleye action's been good on both the Wisconsin and Rock rivers. So we'll talk about that in a minute. I guess up here on Cherokee, I get many, many calls a day, folks asking about what the ice conditions are up at Cherokee. So here's the rundown. It capped over on Monday night. Tuesday, we didn't make any ice. Wednesday, there were pockets of open water that froze Wednesday night. And one guy who checked in yesterday said his spud bar went through with just one hit right near shore, and it was cracking a lot under his feet. We got down to 21 degrees here last night, so it probably made a little bit of ice. I'm not going to say that it's fishable, but there's a lot of guys that will disagree with me. I would not be surprised if folks were out there today and maybe tomorrow, but I definitely do not recommend going out there on Wednesday. There was pockets of open water, scattered all over in here. So, those will be the areas where folks will go through. But folks are going to do what they want. And like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if there was folks out there tomorrow or today and this weekend. Down to 113. There's some skim ice coming in here, shelf ice along here, so it's not super fishable. It might open up this week, but haven't heard much coming out of there anyway. As far as Lake Mendota goes, like I said, I don't know the current ice conditions at Marshall Park or Spring Harbor over here, but if anybody has a report, let us know. Otherwise, yeah, like I said, good muskie, or I'm sorry, walleye action at night in areas like the University Shoreline down here, Tenney Park Breakwall, Warner Park Breakwall. That's of course a walleye game. Lighted slip bobbers have been doing really well with just one of our big extra large fatheads or a chub or a medium shiner has been outproducing lures lately. But if you do fish lures, they're still getting fish. You just got to fish them super slow. So down on Monona, kind of the same deal. Walleye bite's been good up shallow from the Yahar River down to the Monona Terrace and then along John Nolan Drive. Folks are still getting fish. I've been hearing about a lot of folks catching muskies, fishing for walleyes down there. So yeah, that's always kind of cool. Some nice fish coming out of there. But of course, muskie season is closed. Down on Monona Bay, I don't know if there's ice down there. There could be a skim over it today. It wasn't yesterday afternoon, or there was just some ice kind of poking out from the shorelines here. Triangles were wide open. I don't know anything about the ice conditions on Wingra, but if there is ice, it's definitely not safe. But like I said, we got a little bit of cold weather supposed to be coming in here, forecasted for later next week. So if we're getting the temps they say we're going to get, this should lock up real quick. Down on Wabisa, like I said, Babcock's closed, so I haven't heard about a lot of folks fishing down there. The upper mud here is stacked with panfish right now, so if you can get a boat in, you can go catch some panfish. But otherwise, like I said, when that locks up, that's also a great early ice spot. Down to Kegonsa, also I haven't heard much down here because I imagine Fish Camp County Parks launch is closed. But if you're down there, state parks are usually a good area to look for walleyes. Down on Koshkonong, I haven't heard much out of the lake itself, but they are getting walleyes in the river. I know from the Black Hawk Island area up through Fort Atkinson and up to the Jefferson Dam, walleye and sauger. Just be looking for deeper holes on the river itself, and then of course the areas around the dam are also going to be good. Haven't heard anything out of Beaver Dam, but that's usually a pretty early ice place to cap over, so I imagine if they're not out there already, they'll be out there soon. I haven't heard anything out of Devil's Lake. Let's see. The Wisconsin River, like I said, all the rivers have been producing good walleyes, mostly at the dams. But if you can find deep holes with some slower current, those will usually be holding walleyes and saugers. But the dams are going to be your safest bet. So Prairie du Sac, the Dells Dam, Castle Rock, Petenwell are all pretty safe bets. Over to Lake Wisconsin, they've had kind of an on-again, off-again relationship with ice. I heard that the pier over here at the Sunset Bay launch was open, but I heard it was just removed a couple days ago. But if you can get a boat in, they have been getting walleyes. Size has been a bit of an issue. Otherwise, on the ice side of things, I imagine the fingers here at Harmony Grove probably have some ice, but no idea how fishable that is. And of course, the grade, if it doesn't have ice or is at least capped over, it won't be far behind. They've been getting some good fish up here at the Dells Dam, good numbers. Game up there, hard to find size. And I imagine that's just a similar case up at Castle Rock and Petenwell dams. I haven't heard anything out of either of those lakes recently either. Haven't heard anything out of backwater sloughs along the Mississippi. Folks have been getting boats out again and unwinterizing their boats and doing well on the river dams and deeper holes for walleyes. I imagine some of your ice. You're going to be able to find ice north of La Crosse and certainly north of Eau Claire, but even way up north, they just don't have the ice they would normally have. So, man, this El Nino is really taking its toll on some of us in the industry here. Over to Milwaukee, like I said in the intro, you got some good brown trout and steelhead moving up the tributaries still, and they're getting them in the harbors. So you got Kenosha, Racine, Milwaukee. You got the Menominee and Milwaukee rivers here. Port Washington, Harley was up there yesterday fishing for burbot, which is an interesting fish. Poor man's lobster. It's supposed to be delicious. Kind of an ugly fish, if you ask me, but super cool either way. And he didn't get any burbot yesterday, but he caught a nice brown trout. But yeah, all the way up the East Coast, you're going to find steelhead and brown trout still in the tributaries, and those fish, at least the steelhead, will remain all winter long. Geez, I mean, I guess other than the trout season opening tomorrow, which of course is very exciting, don't have much to report. If you want to get out on area streams, we got our thumb pretty much on the pulse of all that. We got everything you need to get out on the ice, whether you're spin fishing or fly fishing. And oh yeah, I guess we'll do the Happy Fly Day thing here. I was just going to go over options for on the fly side of things. So. Good winter flies this time of year are tiny midges. These are midge nymphs in various patterns, but all these are a great option to put behind the pink squirrel, which really, in my opinion, say what you want about it. Some people hate it, most people love it. You put one of these on, it's really all you're going to need for winter trout. But you put one of those on with one of these nymphs behind it, that's a great combo. Otherwise, on the dry fly side of things, little midge patterns, these are very small, like size 20, maybe 18s. Or you can cast meaty streamers. I know these are super popular with a lot of people. Wouldn't strip these very hard. I would just run them, pretty much dead drift them through deep holes this time of year. Trout aren't in too much of a mood to chase things down. But again, otherwise, just kind of your traditional nymphs here too. Stonefly nymphs always a great option. Anything that mimics a stonefly, because there are stonefly hatches that'll come off here in this early spring. But if you're asking me, my go-to is the pink squirrel. It's a great fly. Of course, we got these at the shop. All the flies you need and spinning gear. I guess that's it. So yeah, everyone, if you're getting out on the ice, please be careful. We got to wait this out a little bit. I think get some colder temps in here, but we're very close, hopefully. So fingers crossed on all that. Again, feel free to call the shop 241-4225 if you have any questions. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in, and we will talk to you next week. Thanks so much.